Abdoulaye demoon na ko mu ne ma waaw ñëwal si kanam balaa ñuy
would like to acknowledge the representative of the Ministry of Justice and all representative of government officials. I also would like to congratulate and thank our sister Priscilla. She's the director of the Women's Association for Victim Empowerment, and all your staff. Thank you for these excellent initiatives. The representative of the National Human Rights Commission, representative of the International Center for Transitional Justice, representative of the Diplomatic Corps. This day marks the coming into effect of the United Nations Conventions against torture and other cruel, inhuman, and degrading treatment or punishment, one of the key instruments in fighting torture. Commemorating this 26th June is very important for us as UN, but also especially for the Gambian people, as Gambia undergoes its transitional justice process, which includes the Truth and Reconciliation and Reparation.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning to you all. It is indeed an honor for me to deliver this speech on behalf of the Honorable Attorney General, who would have loved to be here, but due to other official engagements, he is unable to do so. We are gathered here today to commemorate the United Nations International Day in support of victims of torture. Under this Never Again Act memorial, we stand in solidarity with survivors, friends, and family. As a country going through a transitional justice project, we have endured a lot of tragedies over the years. Through the revelations of the Truth, Reconciliation, and Reparations Commission, we had narrations of events that have made us question who we are as a country. This has helped us to chart a path forward to rebuild trust, reinforce the respect for human rights. An event such as this, being an inclusive, creative, and empowering initiative, provides a platform for everyone affected to actively participate in the transitional justice process. The Attorney General extends his appreciation to WAVE and other partners for the good work done in bringing people from different backgrounds to gather here today and celebrate victims of torture for their resilience and their courage in sharing their stories. An event such as this, we are here to reassert the rule of law, the value for human dignity, and to show our commitment to breaking the cycle of violence in our society. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, to that effect, and as part of our implementation and institutional reform agenda, the Attorney General's Office and the Ministry of Justice wishes to reassure the general public that all our initiatives are carried out through a consultative process, guaranteeing that the will of the relevant stakeholders is reflected in our programs. As you all know, the Ministry of Justice recently enacted the Prevention and Prohibition of Torture Act this year through the National Assembly, and it categorizes an array of violations under torture, which notably includes some of the acts of sexual violence. It removes impunity for security officers by placing responsibility on individuals who perpetrate such acts, as well as superior officers that fail to punish such acts. It provides reparations through the courts in the form of mental health and psychosocial support services, and offers no amnesty for torture. Awareness raising and sensitization efforts will continue through the popularization of the Prevention and Prohibition of Torture Act 2023 for all citizens to understand what the law provides and for them to know what happened to individuals that are found wanting by the law. A single act of torture can have a lasting mental, physical, and societal consequence. And this was revealed through the TRRC process. In this light, it is important to recognize the immediate and long-term needs of direct and indirect victims in order to provide a holistic approach to address the consequence of these violations. The Ministry of Justice assures everyone here today that the government is taking full ownership of the transitional justice process. The work done with the support of development partners and to establish a hybrid court that will have jurisdiction to preside over cases of human rights violations and other crimes. As you know, the Ministry of Justice accepted over 98% of the TRRC recommendations. And these recommendations include the prosecutions of persons that bear the greatest responsibility for torture. We plan to combat our society's disillusionment with our government bodies through a comprehensive institutional reform such as the security sector and prison reforms. We are also working on legislation such as the Criminal Offence Bill and the Vetting Bill. This will ensure that persons selected for key positions are best fitted for the job. We understand that violations such as torture do not occur in vacuum, and the above-mentioned steps will remove the enabling environment and better place our institutions in a position to guard the human rights of our people. We continue to work towards the progressive realization of our goal, and in this light, we are proud to know that since its establishment, that is the Human Rights Commission of the Gambia, has acquired an A status, and this is due to its compliance with the Paris Principle. We recognize private citizens and civil society that continue to take up initiatives that elevate some of the pressures of the victims. We renew our commitment to work hand in hand with you towards restorative justice for our citizens. And at this point, I would like to hail the courage and resilience of victims of torture that have opened the eyes of our society and our government to the heinous violations that occurred in this country. And we assure the victims that the government is set to ensure that their needs are met. This may be a long process, but we are committed to walk along this road with victims. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
I wish to read the NHRC statement in solidarity with victims of torture on behalf of the chairperson of the National Human Rights Commission, Commissioner Emmanuel Daniel Diouf. This day is celebrated to acknowledge and honor the victims of torture. It marks an important day to bring the four grave violations that are attributed to torture, cruel, inhuman, and degrading treatment or punishment, particularly these treatments that were endured by victims during the past 22 years of the brutal regime of the former president of the Gambia. The National Human Rights Commission commends the government for the enactment of the Prevention and Prohibition of Torture Act 2023. The NHRC has over the years taken bold steps in addressing violations of torture brought to its attention by complainants. Despite the enactment of the Prevention and Prohibition of Torture Act 2023, our prisons and other detention facilities continue to pose challenges to both detainees and staff, as highlighted by a report recently issued by the National Assembly Standing Committee on Human Rights and Constitutional Matters following their recent visits to detention centers across the country. As we commemorate the 2023 International Day in support of victims of torture, the National Human Rights Commission calls on the government as the principal duty bearer to remember torture cases documented during the hearings of the TRRC, which led to loss of life as well as a long life injuries that are still to date being experienced by victims of torture. The NHRC would like to remind the state of its obligation to promote and protect human rights for all and the absolute prohibition of torture as enshrined in the Prevention and Prohibition of Torture Act 2023. Ladies and gentlemen, as I conclude, the National Human Rights Commission calls on the government once more to implement the recommendations of the TRRC, particularly the payment of reparation, provision of medical assistance, and psychosocial support to victims of torture. The NHRC remains committed to its human rights agenda for our beloved country and stands together with families and survivors and victims of torture and commits to undertake all within its mandate to ensure justice for all. I wish you all a very wonderful commemoration and look forward to the full implementation of the TRRC recommendation, especially those recommendations dealing with torture and other crimes related to torture. Thank you once again for your kind attention.
A few remarks, in addition to what other presenters have already stated. We are delighted to be here on this important occasion to support the International Day of Victims of Torture. It is an occasion to mark and highlight the unambiguous and absolute prohibition of torture and all forms of cruel, inhuman, and degrading treatment. It is also an opportunity to express solidarity with all the victims, their families, and to reaffirm the need for a global commitment to rehabilitate all victims of torture. Thank you, Wade, and all its partners who have made this day possible. The post-TRRC project, funded by the UN Peacebuilding Fund, aims to support the government adopt effective measures and processes to enable the implementation of the post-TRRC recommendations. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, torture is an egregious abuse of human rights. It is unequivocally prohibited by international law and is also an international crime. It gives rise to the obligation and ought to all by states to act against those who torture. As we join hands, we must not forget the victims. Torture diminishes everyone and everything that it touches, including torturers and the systems and countries where it occurs. It has a long-term impact on the individual, the family, and the community. Despite this, many survivors of torture do go on to rebuild their lives, which is a testament to their strength and tenacity. Having access to the right support can help survivors in their process of healing. Victims and their survivors and their families must be empowered and assisted to seek justice for their ordeal. Today's event shines a light on the TRRC recommendations pertaining to torture. The Anti-Torture Act and the ongoing institutional reforms, including the security sector reforms, aim to ensure guarantees of non-recurrence. Guarantees have a crucial role in preventing future violations and reinforcing rule of law, respect for human rights, and contributing to sustaining peace and development. Distinguished guests, our presence here is indicative of the government and various stakeholders' interests and commitment to addressing the scourge of torture. The nature of this collaborative event and the meeting of minds today points to the potential power of our collective intelligence to address torture and the challenges that come with it. Ladies and gentlemen, to all of us here today, let's prepare ourselves to be challenged and inspired. I hope that the interactions and recommendations stemming from this event and the festival will contribute to the already advanced discourse and continuing work on the prevention of torture in the Gambia. On this International Day, let us honor the victims of torture and commit to work to achieve a Gambia where such abuse cannot happen. I wish you all a wonderful day at the festival. Thank you.
It is an honor to be part today of this special event as we are commemorating for the first time in the Gambia the International Day in support of victims and of torture. We come here together to honor the resilience and courage of survivors and to renew our commitment to eradicating torture from our world, to promote human rights, seek justice, and provide support to those who have suffered unimaginable pain and trauma. On this day, we also pay tribute to the courageous individuals and organizations dedicated to the fight against torture. Indeed, torture is a violation of the most fundamental human rights that affects not only individuals, but also families, communities, and the society as a whole. But this commemoration is also a call to action. As sponsors today and partners, we have a responsibility to amplify the voices of survivors, to support organizations dedicated to rehabilitation, and to advocate for stronger legal frameworks that criminalize and prevent torture. Since a few years, the French Embassy has been providing support to associations defending the rights of women and victims of violence as part of the transitional justice process in the Gambia. And I can reaffirm our commitment today to support this process that must lay the foundation of a fairer society. So I would like to thank all the organizations and individuals that have been part in organizing this festival and all the events through the weekend, and more especially the Women's Association for Victims Empowerment and Priscilla that has been initiating this festival. I thank you very much for this attention, for your attention, and I wish you a good day. Thank you.
Includes awareness raising, awareness creation, capacity building, livelihood support. We have worked with victims of the witch hunt campaigns. We were the first to work with them. We're also the first to work with the victims who are in exile in Kmot Ali in Senegal. And we have worked with women, victims of sexual and gender-based violence, children as well, women and girls with disabilities, as well as different categories of women, of victims, part of the transitional justice process, who were victims of violations under the previous regime. On this day, we are happy to commemorate International Day in support of victims of torture. It is the first time that is being commemorated in the Gambia. The International Day has been commemorated in different parts of the world since, I believe it was 1987 when the UN Convention was passed. And we're glad that the Gambia is now at a disposition where we could celebrate human rights. where we could celebrate human rights to music, dance, and culture. And this is what we're doing. Even though it is a commemoration, but we're also using the opportunity to raise awareness and to stand in solidarity with victims of torture, and also to commend the government. As you may be aware, the government has recently passed the anti-torture law. So this is also another milestone for the Gambia, and we use this opportunity to commend the government for this great milestone and to work towards ensuring that never again is really never again. Thank you.
This day is a very important day for me. I'm a victim of torture. April 14, 2016, I was arrested with my colleagues. My co-founder was Ibrahim Solo Sandeng, our team leader. I was arrested in Westfield with my colleagues. And then what took us is electoral reforms dialogue with IEC. That took us in the street that very day on the 14th of April 2016. My name is Modungom. To celebrate this day today is a very important day to me and my colleagues, because we was arrested in Westfield. To make it short, and then they take us to PIU headquarters, me and my colleagues. Ibrahim Solo Sandeng was our key leader. Nogoy Njai is a lady, is not feeling well because of the torture. And then United Nations, I will thank them, especially the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, is a born citizen of Portugal. This day is very important because torture is a silent killer. If you punish a human being, you beat him, that means you see his right. Today is very important occasion to me. I will thank the United Nations. This is a very important day for the victims of torture. And then the Gambia government, I will thank them, through the Ministry of Justice, they passed a bill called anti-no torture in this country. And then torture is a trauma. It trauma me because they torture me. I lost my left eye in NIA here, opposite the High Court Parkway Gate, NIA headquarters. I was there with my colleagues, and then they take us to Bambadinka, and then they beat me. I was tied in my back. They tied me in my back. I was naked, no trouser on me, and then they tied my hand in my back, and then they tied my eye. They cover my eye in a black nylon bag, and then they take me to dark room. They even told me, you are going to receive VIP treatment. VIP treatment is torture. I was beat until I go to unconscious, and then I was tied with the table, and then the table was concrete. But you people can understand. So I was beat until I come unconscious, and I was fainted, and then they take me to the garden, where is you have these Bahama grasses. Okay, no problem. So I was touched. I was beat seriously with my colleagues. I lost my one eye, and then I have lot of heel. The way they tortured me, I was punished in Bambadinka. This is very sad. So I will thank the press. This day is very important to me. It's a gesture to the victim, and the government should try and take this no torture bill to National Assembly. They adopt it, and then they gazette it, so the president can make it as a law, and then the government should take serious about it. Torture is very bad. I will thank all the members of press here. My name is Modungom. I'm a April 14 victim. I was victimized with the current Gambia's government. I will thank all of you. Thank you. Jërëjëf.
bala, never again, not a torture. So, ko ajanda ni mbolo support kan not a torture. Because torture ka kuja male wulu, akafit no wulu no la kalanjiro wulu no le, akabada ba wulu no na ko jimba na le ata. So, not a torture.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
dafa mel ni da ngeen sonna de wala xam nga man nag fu ma ñëw rek dañuy ambiance pare ngeen pour ñu ambiance ma ne mbaa pare ngeen dégguma leen de yéen ñi si pavillon bi pare ngeen yéen ñi boor bi pare ngeen yéen ñi si digga pare ngeen e xale boor bi pare ngeen waaye man xale boor bi laa àndal nag ay DJ Tomba Tra bi ñëwoon ay ca gaay bi ñu xoolee ba ca biir loxoy xam naa li nga moom ma ne xoolal ba ca biir di nga gis yow fi nga féete bi ma xoolee ba ca biir gis naa jigéen bi réew mi ñi ñoo di jàmbaar ndax ñoo di nekka jigéen ñi jaaraama ku sa bëgg sa yaay tàccu sa loxo ana jigéen ñi
kango ila banko kalelima yo saka du sisare kalelima mofmokun fori mofakun degil wabia kongol ma kalelima saka du sareu ila kango ila banko then we're going to your message with okay? It's advocacy. We'll play this song. Let's go. Shout out to our nation of our voice. Let's go. Kongal ma kale di mayo, kale di ma, ila kamo ila banko.
You know everybody, huh? Anything that you want, I'll give you. Zoro yamba yamba, mauda mauda dance, bayale lulu, boale kode dance, boale na miru, boale mora dance, boale miru dance, zoro yamba yamba, zoro yamba.
Thank you.